Alright, what's up, y'all? I appreciate y'all clicking on the video today. Alright, I know it's been a minute since the last video. That's my fault. I recorded this probably like 3 months ago. Since then, I moved, my PC broke, and a whole bunch of other life stuff happened. But I'm back now, and I'm locked in, so we gonna pick up right where we left off. I'm just gonna rap today. Like today, I'm just talking about grace. In like the last couple of videos, I feel like grace has been something that's continuously come up, and that's something that's gonna keep coming up. Today we're gonna talk about why it's important to give yourself grace. It's not gonna be a long video. I gotta go to work in like 15 minutes, so I'm just getting this out because this was on my mind this morning. This may be a little personal, but that's cool.
You gonna take a bite? I gotta eat my breakfast too.
I've lived enough now to understand how important grace is to relationships and to just love in general. So when we be sitting here talking about God, I always say God is love, and God shows you how you're supposed to love others and how you're supposed to love yourself. If we all love how we're supposed to, this world will be a much better place. That doesn't happen because people can make the choices to do whatever they want. Cool. Grace is very important when it comes to love. Grace is very important in relationships, whether it's romantic relationships, whether it's familial relationships, whether it's friendships, because everybody's experiencing life from their own lens and their own perspective of what's going on. You never know completely how somebody's receiving something, how they're thinking about something, how they respond to things based off of what's happened in their life. You're not in anybody else's mind. All you can do is control yourself, your thoughts, your actions to the best of your ability, because a lot of us don't even really do that.
Don't let my sleep up.
I've now lived enough to understand how it feels to not receive grace, and I know what it looks like to not give it. I've been on both ends, and what really taught me the most about this is being in relationships where you may feel like you haven't done anything wrong and they've done everything wrong, and I've been on the opposite end where I've done everything wrong and they feel like they haven't done anything wrong. But regardless of who did what, grace is necessary for love to be present. So one thing that I've learned is that grace and entitlement can't coexist. So if you feel entitled to a certain type of behavior or a certain type of treatment or certain types of things, you're then not going to give the kind of grace necessary that it is to love somebody how you're supposed to, and vice versa. And we see this from God. When people feel entitled to good things, or they feel entitled because I did this, or because I don't do this, or because I'm better than the next person, God should bless me, God should do that, God should do that. That's not how love works. When love is truly present, it'll expose all of those flaws that you may have or that circumstances may show you. That's what love does. Love is light. So love shines light on whatever it is, and you'll be able to see things for what they are when love is present, which is why love and grace have to exist together. So when you think that someone has to earn grace, or you think that you have to earn grace, you then put yourself outside of the realm of real love. If God made us earn our grace, we will all be dead, because the wages of sin is death. If you're in a relationship, or if you're dealing with family, or you're dealing with friends, if every time they do something wrong, you feel like you have to punish them, then you're not giving grace and you're not loving how you're supposed to. And the reason that that's important, because I know a lot of people are going to hear that and feel like, well, if I keep letting people do wrong, then they'll never learn that they need to do right. And what I say to you is, one, that's not your place, and two, you can correct without punishing somebody. Like, a lot of people I know grew up in households where their parents would be upset with something that they did, and then they would respond by punishing them, but the punishment never really corrects the behavior. It just makes you feel guilty, and guilt shouldn't be present in love either, because love should have grace in it. So how can someone be in position to do better if anytime they mess up, that make them feel that way? So you'll feel like, okay, well, you're not good enough, or like you're not doing well enough, or like you keep messing up and you'll never get it right. So then a lot of people just be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna just do what I want to do. I'm gonna just do what I feel like makes the most sense, because either way, I'm just gonna mess up. And that is a very selfish and human way of loving people. It's nothing wrong with protecting yourself while giving grace as well. You can give somebody grace and still set up boundaries to where they can't violate you in a certain way, but you're still supposed to be giving people grace. And the reason you're supposed to be giving people grace is because God gives us grace. So whatever God does for us, we're supposed to be doing for other people and helping other people with. And you also have to look at yourself and where you stand in that, and think to yourself, if people didn't give you grace, if every time you messed up, if every time you lied, if you were a kid, if every time you didn't do the dishes and there was no grace, and your mom come home, she mad, and she just kick you out the house. That's it. Done.
Out of my house.
All right, if you don't want me in the house, I'll leave. I'll go get my clothes.
No, you don't have clothes. Everything you own is mine. As a matter of fact, take them pants off.
Now, as a child, one thing that you're supposed to be to your parents is obedient. So if your parent then decided to kick you out because you weren't being obedient, they're within their right to do that. That could technically be fair. They're not wrong for doing that, but it feels wrong because why would you treat your child like that? Same way God treats us. And we have to get to the place where we're treating ourselves like that. And not only treating ourselves like that, we're also treating other people like that, because that's the only way growth actually happens. It's important to understand grace, especially in regards to love, because where grace is given, growth begins.
That boy is good.
And it's on the person that's receiving the grace to make sure that they're not taking advantage of the grace. But you, as the grace giver, you can't control that, and you can't try and force people to understand that. That's not for you to do. You're supposed to give people grace, again, because God gives us grace and because that's how you love people. Now, I'm not saying just let people walk all over you, let people do whatever. No, like I said, you can set up boundaries, you can limit access, but you can still give people grace and still try and push them in the right direction and still try and help them. The reason this really came to my mind and why I was really thinking about it is because a lot of people think and move like someone has to earn their grace, or you have to do something to show me why you deserve grace. And if God treated us like that, how would we really look? Because we mess up every day. Everybody messes up every day. But that's not love. If you only love people based off of what they do, that's just service.
He ain't lying.
But we've been instructed to love your brother, love your neighbor, how you love yourself. But then a lot of us don't love ourselves how we're supposed to, and don't give ourselves the necessary grace because we think we're supposed to do everything right, not how God loves you. So then you take that and then you apply that to the people around you, and you're isolating them as well, making them feel bad. Now you feel guilty because you're not giving yourself grace. They feel guilty because the people that claim they love them aren't giving them grace either, and nobody's actually getting any better. We're all just stuck in our guilt trying to figure out how to stop messing up, when in reality we're human, so we're always going to mess up. That's what grace was for. That's why Jesus died on the cross for us in the first place, so that we don't have to live like we're trying to be something that we're not. What grace is really meant for is to give us time to be able to learn and figure out the things that we're supposed to figure out. So if somebody's still immature to the point where you give them grace and they're taking that grace to focus on themselves, that's on them. But it's still your responsibility to give grace. And you don't have to give grace. I'm not telling nobody they have to do anything. You can be strict, you cannot play.
And he gets down. He don't play.
You cannot accept nothing, and that's cool. Just be very aware for when people treat you that way. You're gonna quickly understand that in an environment like that, you have no room to grow. I'm gonna give an even better example. I saw this with my sister. This is an example from my sister. When you was growing up and you had some math homework, and for some reason, math can trip up a lot of people. So my sister would have some math homework, and she just wouldn't be getting it. And my dad would be trying to tell her how to get to the answer. And to my dad, it's so simple because he already understands it and because he already gets it. It's the, like, they'll put the memes up where it's like, if Johnny had 3 apples.
If little Johnny has 3 apples and I take one away, how many does he have left? 4. Josh, go get my bill.
My sister wouldn't know the answer. Or whoever. It don't even got to be my sister specifically. Like, if she watched this, Taylor, I'm not trying to call you dumb. You know how you was. You don't know the answer, so you're sitting there, and because there's so much pressure on you to know the right answer or to have the right answer, and you know you don't know the right answer, and then you say the wrong answer, and the response to you saying the wrong answer is yelling and screaming, and I can't believe this, and how could you not understand, and da 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 da. What did the child actually learn? Like, what did my sister actually learn like that? My dad's sitting here yelling at her, mad because she doesn't understand something, but you're not actually helping her learn. You're trying to teach her, and as you're trying to teach her, you're getting frustrated because you're not giving enough grace. You don't have enough patience, and you're not giving enough grace. So she can't actually learn what she needs to learn because you aren't who you're supposed to be. So that's fault on you as well as it's fault on the person who needs the grace. So then it's important for you to understand that and understand what grace really is so that you can help other people grow, other people learn, and get to where they're supposed to get. And that's loving people, because the idea is still that we're all moving towards the kingdom, and for us to get there, we have to love each other there. So then you can have the freedom to stop and think, okay, I know the answer, I can figure it out, I actually have time to figure it out. It's not so much pressure on me right now to have it right now that I have time to actually figure out the answer. Nah, Johnny got 1 apple left. That's what grace gives you. 1 apple.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
That's it. That's it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about grace because it's such an important concept that gets overlooked so often because people think more of themselves than they should, and they put those expectations on other people. But again, you're not living anybody else's life. You're not them. You don't know what they're experiencing. You don't know what wheels are turning in their head that made them do something that you may not agree with. And that's not up for you to determine. That's between them and God. What you're supposed to do is give them grace, love them, and help them get to where they're supposed to. That's your job. That's all of our jobs. So, that's it. I gotta go to work. Love people how you're supposed to. Give them grace. Help them out. That's all. I appreciate y'all watching. I'm gone.